Let's touch base with Gajendra Haldia, who's the advisor to the DCH Planning Commission, to get a sense of the focus there is on infrastructure and what can be done for improving the outlook for the sector. Mr. Haldia, thanks very much for taking the time out and speaking with us. First up, infra clearly has been the sector in focus of late. It's a combination of lack of clearances, lack of land and execution delays, which are pretty much creating a lot of confusion in the sector. What's your view on these key issues?
If you take roads, for example, there are a number of challenges. First is the business of clearances. That is obviously delaying many projects, especially environmental and forest clearances. So that needs to be sorted out. Second is the delays in land acquisition. I think NHAI and the respective state governments have to speed up their actions in order to get the land in their possession. So that's largely in the control of NHAI, and they need to expedite their processes and their implementation. Third is the problem of the past bids which were aggressive and which were somewhat mismanaged. So people have bid on a basis which is somewhat unsustainable, and so they are trying to wriggle out of it. Some companies are over leveraged. The banks have suddenly become more cautious. Earlier they were over liberal, now they are over cautious. So these are the problems which are delaying projects, and I think we need to take corrective action to bring back the speed that we had earlier achieved.
NHAI started the year with a grand target of 9,000 kilometers of roads to be awarded, Mr. Haldia, but the actual awards so far have been drastically lower. I mean, would the hurdles between the Road and the Environment Ministry and the need for multiple permissions continue, or would it come to an end?
It is possible that a number of projects are held up because of environmental clearances, but that was true last year, that was also true of the year before. Maybe it is slightly more acute this time. But to say that, we can't award projects because every project is stuck in environmental clearance would be an exaggeration. I personally feel that, NHAI has not been performing to the desired level. So many of the problems would be internal to the functioning of the NHAI, and so the underperformance cannot be squarely laid at the door of external factors alone. When you set out to implement a large program like this, you have to anticipate hurdles and you have to overcome them. A good organization is one which anticipates these hurdles, finds solutions and delivers, if not to the promised level, then somewhere near there.
Right. Another trend that has been observed over the last 2 to 3 years is that road developers have started facing cash crunch. They have at times not realized traffic volumes as expected and are now on the lookout to exit their projects. But the buyers of road projects have been few and far between. Why do you think we are seeing such a situation?
I think there was over-exuberance earlier when they may have bid high. That may be one factor, but that cannot explain the entire story. I think many of the concessionaires have over-leveraged themselves. I think NHAI has not facilitated or encouraged foreign investment. So with the number of bidders being limited, with the availability of domestic capital being limited, you are bound to reach a situation where these people say that they have run out of resources and they can't handle any more. So I think it's a mix of factors which has led to this situation. So we have to open up more and we have to permit other people other than good old road construction contractors. We have to encourage other people to invest in highways. We have to include people who have not invested in highways so far. We have to encourage foreign investors. So we have to expand the scope of enlarge the scope of the interested investors. And then we will be able to move forward.
So then at the Commission, are you looking at suggesting guidelines or alternatives for the Road Ministry or the NHAI to ensure the bid process is more strong and possibly only players with the right balance sheet strength are allowed to participate?
You know, we have from time to time been suggesting that they should rationalize the bidding process and shortlist only 6 or 7 competent people, and they should also at the same time ensure that only a few people, because they are big fellows and they get pre-qualified on a preferential basis, don't walk away with an undue share. So it must be more, it must be distributed across a number of competent bidders. So nobody is suggesting that it all should get concentrated in the hands of a few big players. There is a way of an even and reasonable distribution in a very rational manner, and there is a way of actually promoting competition in a very orderly manner by pre-qualifying 5 or 6 people. But neither the NHAI nor the bulk of contractors were in the past willing to see reason. Let's see what they do in future.
Right. Finally, Mr. Haldia, what are the kind of targets that you see for infrastructure development over the next 5 years? What is it that you put it down to in terms of money investment?
Well, we are still hopeful of 1 trillion investment. Okay, that is double of what we achieved in the 11th plan. In the last plan. Now, unless we do that, the economic growth as a whole will be constrained. So it's important for us to get there. Otherwise, the entire economic growth will be constrained. Having said that, 1 trillion cannot occur on the basis of business as usual. Government will have to take many decisions on a proactive basis. Many of these problems will have to be resolved, including financing, including bidding systems, including environment, forest clearances, land acquisition, and the whole lot. Unless these are resolved sooner than later, we will miss the 1 trillion target. So in the next couple of months, it will be necessary for the government to demonstrate that these problems have either been resolved or are on their way to resolution. That's very important.
We'll leave it at that, Mr. Haldia. Thanks so much, though, for taking the time out and joining us.